Bukod sa agawan ng teritoryo sa West Philippine Sea, gusto rin daw ni Pangulong Duterte na mapag-usapan nila ni Chinese President Xi Jinping ang planong joint oil exploration doon. May live report si Joseph Morong. Joseph?
Jessica, mamadali na ni Pangulong Duterte ang China na magkaroon ng Code of Conduct ang mga bansa na gagawa ng teritoryo sa South China Sea.
Sa ambush interview pagkatapos ng oath-taking ng mga bagong promote na opisyal ng PNP, sinabi ng Pangulong kanyang pakay sa pagpunta niya sa China ngayong buwan. Sabihan ng China na paspasan na ang pagbubuo ng Code of Conduct o COC. Ang COC magiging panuntunan ng pakikipag-ugnayan ng mga bansang may claim sa South China Sea sa isa't isa. Pinapatagal daw kasi ito ng China. August 2018 nagkaroon na ng draft nito at November 2018 nagkaroon ng kasunduan ng China at mga ASEAN countries na tapusin ang COC sa loob ng 3 taon. Ang Pilipinas ang chair ng China-ASEAN Dialogue Relations.
Matagal yung Code of Conduct. It's becoming a very big issue. I do not want trouble for my country, but whether we like it or not, however, on which side you are, it would not be good for my country to be in a state of violence.
Bukod sa COC, gusto rin ng Pangulo na pag-usapan na nila ni Chinese President Xi Jinping ang paggalugad ng mga mineral resources sa West Philippine Sea. Sa ngayon, ang proposal ng China, 60%, 40% ang hatian kung sakasakali. 60% ang makikita sa West Philippine Sea sa Pilipinas, 40% sa China. Bagay na sinang-ayunan na ng Pangulo.
Let us first be sure that we have the access. And I'm most interested in the exploitation of the natural resources. Para sa akin, kung if it's without touching on the validity of course the real owner takes time, we can start the talk.
Binanggit na ng Pangulo ang hatian kay Xi dati, una noong October 2016 at ikalawa nito lamang Abril. Sa parehong pagkakataon sabi ni Xi, baka gulo yan. Paano kung sabihin ulit ni Xi yan?
What if he says again that raising it could mean trouble?
I will think about it. Okay. I will just keep it to myself first because at that stage nothing would really be very significant.
Iginit ng Pangulo na kahit sinasabi rin ng China na kanilang ilang bahagi ng South China Sea katulad ng West Philippine Sea, hindi ito tinatanggap ng Pangulo.
Does it mean, sir, that we accept the China position? Hindi naman.
No, because we cannot accept that. We are not allowed to accept that China owns it because of the arbitrary ruling.
Okay.
And even before, we were claiming it. Pag-asa has been there for 74 years. 1974. We already claimed Pag-asa occupied. That's why just erased that.
Jessica, sa ibang balita naman, dyan pa rin sa ambush interview ng Pangulo, ay sinabi niya na bukas siya sa muling paggamit ng dengue vaccines para sa mga biktima o sa may naapektuhan ng dengue. Sabi niya ay epidemya na ang pinag-uusapan. Bagaman, hihintayin pa rin daw niya muna ang rekomendasyon ng mga eksperto. Jessica?
Joseph, ang unang pronouncement ng Pangulo nung in-announce for the first time na pupunta uli siya sa China at the end of this month, I understand, ay igigiit na niya yung panalo ng Pilipinas o yung arbitral ruling decision. Ibig sabihin, parang di ba kasi sinabi niya previously, bago pa lang siya sa kanyang termino or even during the campaign na umpisa, hinay-hinay lang and then the right time, yung tamang panahon daw will come when he will use the arbitral ruling para strengthen naman yung posisyon at yung claim ng ating bansa against China. So doon pa lang parang he will push back against China. That's the idea that we got, Pero paano ba yun? How does this reconcile with the fact na sinabi rin niya recently na binigyan niya ng permiso ang mga Chinese na mangisda sa loob ng EEZ ng ating bansa? So parang meron lang hindi consistent dun sa mga pangyayari o mga pronouncements na yon. So ano ba talaga itong paano ba ito tatalakayin lahat kaya ni Pangulong Duterte when he discusses this with Chinese President Xi Jinping? Joseph?
Jessica, yung point mo na yung bakit niya pinapayagan yung mga Chinese fishermen at kasabay niyan, paano yun magiging compatible sa pagsasabi niya na igigiit natin yung pagkapanalo natin. You're right in the sense that it appears that it may be inconsistent. But ang sinasabi ng presidente dyan is that meron tayong leverage. Kung halimbawa na pinapayagan niya yung mga Chinese fishermen, ay ang sinasabi niyan ay he is coming from the context that we do own that territory at yung pagpayag is a sign of ownership ng West Philippine Sea, no? And dun sa ating exclusive economic zone na parang sinasabi niya na pinapayagan natin yan, hindi ibig sabihin na ay taliwas yan dun sa arbitral ruling. In fact, this is it's being consistent with the arbitral ruling because I am the owner and therefore I give permission, Jessica.
So it's like the president will tell Xi Jinping na, oy, amin yan ha, kaya pinapayagan lang namin kayong mangisda. Pero eto pa rin yung ruling ng arbitral court, no, that we won. Hindi po pwede yung inyong 9-dash line. Ganun kaya ang magiging tono o pananalita ni Pangulong Duterte because it was very clear and very strong, no, na finally igigiit na niya yung arbitral ruling na panalo tayo, panalo ang Pilipinas against China.
Yeah, on the first point na baka, yes, igigit niya pero not as, maybe as aggressively as we put it, medyo subtle. Kasi doon naman sa pag nag-uusap ang dalawang pinuno ng bansa ay may pagkakataon na diplomatic yung pakikipag-usap. But we did hear from the President at least 2 times already na ang ginagamit na niya yung arbitral ruling. And kanina nga dun sa ambush interview, ang sinasabi niya, pinapaliwanag niya yung Chinese context, yung Chinese position na parang kasi sila, ini-insist nila na kanila yung ilang bahagi ng South China Sea including the West Philippine Sea. So we asked him, do we recognize yung ganong assertion ng China? Sabi niya, no. Hindi kadahil meron tayong arbitral ruling saying that some parts of those contested territories ay bahagi ng ating exclusive economic zone. So I think at least no naririnig na natin directly and itong si Pangulong Duterte na nag-a-assert at ginagamit yung arbitral ruling. But I think later this month, no, I think he will use the arbitral ruling as a leverage to move along yung discussion doon sa 60-40 because mukha namang parehong okay na sa China at Pilipinas yung 60-40 at pag kasi sinabi mong 60 sa Pilipinas ay implicit na acknowledgement yon na that the territory that is concerned is within the Philippines at kaya mas malaki yung bahagi natin. So yung pag-raise niya ng arbitral ruling is complementary to dun sa 60-40 discussion, Jessica, na mangyayari sa pagitan nitong si President Xi and President Duterte sometime later this month, Jessica.
I get that. I get that part, Joseph, kasi consistent ito dun sa sinasabi pa ng presidente at ng Malacanang dati, no, na they're just trying to make a bad situation better, 'di ba? Kaya lang, at I also remember na I don't just remember kung sinong legislator itong nagsabi recently na parang para na tayong doormat ng China. And at this point na ang dami nang nangyari sa pagitan ng ating mga bansa, dapat pa ba can the president still afford to treat these matters diplomatically or subtly, as you put it? To enumerate, no? May mga survey ships ngayon ng China na nasa Siargao daw and nasa Batanes. Apart pa ito dun sa nireklamo ni Defense Secretary Lorenzana na bigla na lang pumasok yung kanilang aircraft carrier or another vessel dun sa Cebu Strait. Aside from may na-monitor din sa Balabac, no? These are inland waters, no? Hindi ito yung mga EEZ or labas ng EEZ natin or South China Sea. These are within our islands mismo sa pagitan ng ating mga isla. And then patay pa yung kanilang AIS o automatic identification system na parang medyo surreptitious o suspicious yung pagpasok nila, no? And then there's of course the Recto Bank incident, yung pag-swarm ng mga Chinese cargo and fishing operating vessels in several islands in the Spratlys, I mean particularly Pag-asa and I think even Sandy Cay. And then the fact that yung sa Scarborough o Panatag Shoal, ang may control ay ang mga Chino, hindi naman yung mga fishermen natin. So all of these issues. So I think the question is how can the president still afford to treat these matters diplomatically or subtly, as you put it, when he sees Chinese President Xi Jinping? Joseph?
I mean, to be frank about it, Jessica, he doesn't have a choice but to treat this diplomatically and to deal with the Chinese subtly and with na medyo hindi naman malambot pero medyo mas kalmado, no? Kasi ang opposite niya, na sinasabi ng Malacanang is that if we're too aggressive, baka naman mamaya, we're shooting for the moon, we will lose everything. Ngayon, dun muna sa mga activities ng mga Chinese service ships, na we ask itong presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo, ang sabi lang niya sa atin ay the Defense Department is still verifying if this is true. But we did ask him, paano nga kung halimbawa na totoo? Hindi ba man lamang tayo nag-aalala? Ang sinabi naman ng Malacanang dyan is that anything that can compromise our national security is a cause for concern. But of course, pending verification from our anong tawag mo dito, Defense Department, no? At ang nababasa ko dun sa mga pahayag nitong si SFA Teddy Boy Locsin is that he will only rely on information given to him by the military and not civilians. Civilians meaning ito yung mga lumalabas na mga information from organizations alleging that there are certain activities of the Chinese dun sa iba nating mga teritoryo. Now, the question is, paano natin, doormat ba tayo? At paano natin na paano tayo mag-a-assert ng ating soberenya? And question is it too late? Ngayon, pwede nating i-applyan, Jessica, dun sa 60-40 na joint exploration and exploitation. Right now, we're talking to China. But we have heard before, itong si National Security Advisor Hermanes Esperon na hindi naman necessarily ay yung ganyang joint exploration exploitation ay open only to China. In fact, when he said that sometime in April, dun sabi nung nasa Beijing tayo, pwede din naman natin na i-open for other companies from other nations yung posibilidad na sila yung magalugad katulong ng Pilipinas. Ngayon, pag ginawa natin yan, what does it do to our sovereignty and dun sa ating karapatan sa area? It says, now we are recognizing this and it's hindi lang to versus China. In fact, this is strengthening our position that we own this and it is open not only to China but to other countries as well. So meaning, amin talaga to and we are opening it not just to you, but to other countries as well, Jessica.
Itong joint exploration, Joseph, mukhang parang doon na tayo talaga papunta, no? Hindi na ito maitatanggi na yun na ang direksyon ng cooperation ngayon between our two countries. Joint exploration na talaga. I think, if I understand it correctly, China will take care of the exploring and the extracting, meaning resources nila ang gagamitin. And then yung oil na makukuha dyan or gas ay paghahatian nga. At as of now, it's 60-40, no? Sa pag-discuss na ito ni Pangulong Duterte kay President Xi Jinping ng China, hindi ba niya kailangan ng consultation or whatever with our Congress? He can just go ahead and discuss these details with them. Ganun ba yon, Joseph?
I think the congressional approval, if this is going to be an executive agreement between China and the Philippines, meaning the President and President Xi, will have to go through Congress because that's a requirement under the Vienna Convention on Treaties. No? Kailangan makita yan. But until such time na meron na silang agreement dun sa 60-40, ay hindi pa natin masasabi na kailangan agad yan. So in principle, they can agree. Kasi before, in the discussions, I remember, no, this is not the first time, no, na may ganung pagtatangka doon sa area ng Palawan, malapit doon sa Malampaya, to explore that area. May mga private companies, but the way that this is going to happen is that these are private companies, Jessica, pa rin, ha? So for example, government companies, halimbawa the Philippines will designate, I understand, the Philippine National Oil Company. So Philippines yon. And then China will designate, kumbaga hindi siya bansa, hindi siya gobyerno, but companies of governments. No, ngayon, yung 60-40 before it was a sticky issue. Ibig sabihin kasi may implication kasi yan. Pag sinabi mong binigay na, pag halimbawa nag-insist yung China na 60, anong ibig sabihin yan? 60 kasi sa'yo yan. So hindi yun. Medyo malaking problema yun before. But now, President Duterte and President Xi have come to an agreement na 60-40 is okay. Sabi pa nga ni Presidente, proposal ng China 60-40, good. Because it thought, ang sabi ni presidential spokesperson, when you have a 60-40 in favor of the Philippines, that says they are implicitly acknowledging yung ating ownership of the area. So mukhang dyan na yung pupunta, and I think we can expect probably a development dyan sa 60-40 plan when he comes to Beijing by the end of the month, Jessica. So mukhang dyan na tayo pupunta, and we can expect maybe a clear picture with regard to that after the trip, Jessica.
And it sounds definite that it's going to be within the area of Recto Bank or the Reed Bank, no, yun yung international name niya, kung saan nagkaroon ng incident between our fishermen and the Chinese. Tama ba, Joseph?
Correct. That's because that's the offer of the Department of Energy. No, yung parang I don't know if remember it correctly. Service contract number 72, I think, yung sa Malampaya, malapit sa Malampaya. Because remember, Jessica, yung Malampaya is a gas reserve at medyo malapit na siyang maubos. And kung halimbawang maubusan, medyo delikado tayo because that supplies 30% of the requirements ng electricity ng buong bansa. It supplies electricity to 5 power plants in Luzon. Ngayon, kung maubos yan and wala tayong backup, then that's going to be a problem for the administration. Kaya medyo minamadali na rin yung paghanap ng isang alternative source to supplement itong Malampaya just in case. So just to underscore the importance of this discussion. At dyan nga yun, sa may Reed Bank, malapit sa Palawan, near also yung Malampaya, yung Service Contract 72, if I remember it correctly, Jessica.
Maraming salamat sa iyo, Joseph Morong.